Welcome to my channel USA Old Coins. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end, you won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. In the heart of American coinage history, one particular coin holds a fascinating story that many collectors dream of uncovering: the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. This unassuming piece of silver-colored metal, often passed from hand to hand in everyday transactions, holds secrets that have stunned numismatists and ignited a nationwide hunt among coin enthusiasts. Though it may appear ordinary at first glance, this quarter holds a history as rich and layered as the nation it represents. The year 1965 marked a critical turning point in U.S. coin production. Due to the rising cost of silver, the U.S. Mint made a monumental decision to eliminate silver from dimes and quarters. From that year forward, these coins were produced using a copper-nickel-clad composition, a change that forever altered the face of American coinage. However, the transition wasn't flawless, and within that chaos lies the intrigue surrounding the 1965 Washington quarter. While the official plan was to stop minting silver quarters by the end of 1964, some 1965 dated quarters were accidentally struck on 90% silver planchets meant for earlier years. These rare minting errors created coins that should never have existed, coins that now command extraordinary prices in the collector's market. These silver 1965 quarters are exceedingly rare and almost mythical in the eyes of seasoned collectors. To the average person, the 1965 Washington quarter looks no different from the rest. Featuring the iconic image of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, it seems identical to its countless peers. But it's the weight and sound that gives away the secret. Silver quarters are slightly heavier than their copper-nickel counterparts, and they emit a distinct ring when dropped on a hard surface. The excitement of finding a genuine 1965 silver quarter has grown over the years, with collectors using precise scales and magnifying glasses to comb through their pocket change and inherited jars of old coins. The stakes are high, because if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be holding a true treasure. What fuels the fascination even more is that only a very small number of these error coins have ever been authenticated. They are not only rare, they are elusive, like a whisper in the winds of coin lore. Each one that emerges is a reminder of how a simple mistake in the mint can lead to one of the most valuable coins in modern circulation. These coins are typically verified through a series of tests, weight, edge inspection, and in some cases, even a metallurgical analysis. Because the silver content is a distinguishing feature, accurate weighing down to the decimal point is crucial. A genuine 1965 silver quarter weighs approximately 6.25 grams, while the standard copper-nickel version weighs only 5.67 grams. Despite the overwhelming odds, people continue to hunt. Flea markets, estate sales, old coin collections, and even vending machine change have become hotspots for hopeful treasure seekers. The dream is simple but powerful: find one of the most famous modern coin errors and change your fortune forever. The 1965 Washington quarter also stands out for the sheer volume of coins minted that year. Over 1.8 billion quarters were produced, making it one of the most common dates. That immense supply makes the silver era quarters even more difficult to spot. Buried among billions of ordinary coins, even among standard 1965 quarters, collectors still seek well-preserved examples. Coins graded MS-66 and higher by professional grading services can still bring in substantial value, though not as jaw-dropping as their silver cousins. However, it's the blend of history, error, and scarcity that truly elevates the 1965 silver quarter to legendary status. Over the years, a handful of verified silver 1965 quarters have surfaced and gone to auction. Each one of them has generated massive interest and bidding wars among collectors, dealers, and investors. The stories behind their discovery often become as treasured as the coins themselves. Imagine stumbling upon one in a collection left behind by a grandparent, or among rolls purchased from a bank decades ago. Such tales of accidental fortune continue to inspire both new and seasoned collectors to remain vigilant. It's a pursuit fueled not only by potential wealth, but also by curiosity, history, and passion. This coin's journey, from being a simple mistake in a time of economic change to a holy grail in numismatic circles, is nothing short of thrilling. It serves as a testament to how even the most minor details in coin production can ripple through time and transform a coin into a priceless artifact. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932, was never just a coin. It was a national symbol, a tribute to the first U.S. president, and a medium through which millions connected with American history. But the 1965 version carved a unique chapter in that legacy, cementing its place in collecting history. Today, the hunt continues with renewed energy as more people learn about this enigmatic coin. Every 1965 quarter in circulation becomes a mystery waiting to be solved. Could this one be silver? Could this one be the error coin worth thousands? In coin shops and auctions across the country, demand for rare 1965 quarters remains high. Experts recommend closely examining any 1965 quarter you come across. It just might change your life. Collecting isn't just a hobby for many, it's an adventure that bridges generations and unlocks the hidden value of the past. As we wrap up this incredible tale, one fact remains clear. The 1965 Washington quarter is not to be overlooked. Its story, its error, and its impact continue to echo in the world of coin collecting like a legend that refuses to fade. And believe it or not, one rare 1965 Washington quarter dollar, struck on a 90% silver planchet and preserved in near-perfect condition, was recently sold for a jaw-dropping amount of $180,000. Top 2. The Washington quarter dollar, minted in 1971, holds a unique position in the vast history of American coinage. It's a coin that millions of people have held, spent, or saved, yet few truly understand its hidden potential. At first glance, it appears like any other quarter, a silver-colored, well-worn piece of metal stamped with the iconic image of George Washington. But for collectors who look closer, this seemingly ordinary coin has become a symbol of hidden wealth and numismatic intrigue. The early 1970s were a time of great change in the United States, both socially and economically. The country was still recovering from the effects of the Vietnam War, adjusting to the new realities of inflation, and transitioning into a post-silver coinage era. By this time, the U.S. Mint had fully converted to using copper-nickel-clad compositions instead of silver for dimes and quarters. However, the change wasn't without its complications, and 1971 quarters carry the legacy of that turbulent transition. The 1971 Washington quarter features a left-facing portrait of George Washington on its obverse, with the word Liberty boldly etched above and the national motto, "In God We Trust," to the left. The reverse showcases the iconic eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing strength and peace. It is a design that's been engraved into American culture for decades. While the design remained consistent, the subtle variations within the 1971 quarter make all the difference. Coins struck at different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, carry their own unique characteristics. The mint mark, or the lack thereof, can change a coin's desirability drastically. Some 1971 quarters lack a mint mark altogether, which automatically links them to the Philadelphia Mint. What makes the 1971 quarter truly fascinating isn't just its widespread use, but the small number of rare varieties and errors that have emerged from this year. These rare coins, often overlooked by casual observers, include double-die obverse errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and even transitional metal mix-ups that occurred during the minting process. Collectors have been known to pay impressive sums for 1971 quarters that exhibit rare minting flaws. These include doubled letters in the word Liberty or in Washington's I, variations that are nearly invisible without magnification but immensely valuable once discovered. It's these tiny imperfections that make one coin out of millions suddenly worth a fortune. The journey of a valuable coin often begins with a simple spark of curiosity. Someone sorting through pocket change notices an odd texture, a slightly off-center strike, or an unusually sharp detail in the lettering. That curiosity turns into research, and before long, that very coin is sitting under a microscope, revealing clues that suggest it's far more valuable than its face value. Over time, Stories have surfaced of individuals finding rare 1971 quarters in old coin jars, in inherited collections, or from rolls of coins purchased at banks. These exciting discoveries fuel the dreams of collectors everywhere. Imagine holding a 25-cent piece and realizing it might be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. Another key factor in the value of a 1971 quarter is its condition. Coins that have never entered circulation and remain in mint or near mint state are far more valuable than their worn counterparts. Coins graded MS67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC are extremely rare and command premium prices at auction. Some 1971 quarters, due to unusual composition or planchet errors, are found struck on silver instead of clad metal. Though not officially confirmed by the mint, a few silver-struck 1971 quarters have surfaced and stunned the collecting community. These silver anomalies remain some of the most mysterious and sought-after pieces from the era. High-grade proofs from the San Francisco Mint also carry strong appeal. These coins, made for collectors and not for general circulation, are struck with extra care and have mirror-like finishes. Though not all are valuable, certain proof errors and deeply cameoed pieces from 1971 can be worth far more than their standard counterparts. In addition to technical errors, the historical context of the coin also plays a role in its fascination. The early 70s were rich in cultural and political shifts. The coins from this time became quiet witnesses to events like the end of the space race, the winding down of the Vietnam War, and the beginnings of a digital revolution. Collectors are not just drawn to coins for their monetary value. They're drawn to their stories, their imperfections, and the thrill of the hunt. The 1971 Washington quarter holds all these elements, wrapped in a pocket-sized piece of history. It reminds us that sometimes, the most extraordinary things are hiding in plain sight. Not uncommon for people to check their change more carefully once they hear of a rare quarter being sold at auction. The mere possibility that one of these hidden gems could be lying forgotten in a drawer is enough to set off waves of searching among hobbyists and investors alike. The world of coin collecting is one of patience, attention to detail, and passion. And with coins like the 1971 Washington quarter still being discovered in remarkable forms, that passion continues to grow. It's a reminder that true value often lies just beneath the surface. If you ever come across a 1971 quarter, don't rush to spend it. Look closer. Feel its weight, examine its edges, inspect the details under light. You might just be holding a piece of overlooked treasure that the world has yet to recognize. The Washington quarter has remained a symbol of durability and tradition, and the 1971 edition is no exception. But for a lucky few, it has become something more, a golden opportunity born from silver-toned metal. It's a piece of the past that could reshape someone's future, and now, here's the most astonishing part of all. A rare and perfectly preserved 1971 Washington quarter dollar, struck with an extraordinary mint error and graded at the highest level, was recently sold to an enthusiastic collector for a breathtaking amount of $146,000. Top 3. The Washington quarter dollar minted in 1973 may seem like just another everyday coin to most people, but to a passionate collector or a sharp-eyed enthusiast, it holds the potential to become a prized treasure. Often overlooked in pocket change and coin jars across the United States, this coin carries more than just 25 cents of purchasing power. It carries a story, a legacy, and in rare cases, a fortune. The year 1973 was one of continued transition and complexity for the U.S. Mint. Having fully moved away from silver coinage years earlier, the Mint was producing quarters made entirely of copper and nickel, in a clad composition. While the face of the coin remained the familiar and revered profile of George Washington, the nuances hidden within some of these coins turned ordinary circulation pieces into valuable collectibles. Collectors have always been intrigued by the Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932. By 1973, the design had become iconic, with Washington's image proudly displayed on the obverse and a majestic eagle on the reverse. These design elements didn't change year to year, but the devil was in the details, and that's where collectors found their goldmine. The 1973 Washington Quarter was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins struck in Philadelphia carry no mint mark, those from Denver bear a small d, and the San Francisco coins are marked with an S. Each mint produced millions of quarters, but not all of them were created equal. Among the most fascinating aspects of the 1973 quarters are the proof coins minted in San Francisco. Intended for collectors, these coins were struck with extraordinary precision and care, creating a beautiful mirror-like finish. However, some of these proofs were mistakenly released into circulation or struck with imperfections, making them unexpectedly rare and highly sought after today. In addition to proof errors, other minting mistakes made their way into the 1973 batch. Some quarters were struck off-center, some show doubling in the letters or date, and others display die cracks or cuds that occurred during the striking process. Each error tells a story of a rushed or malfunctioning moment at the mint, and each one adds significant value to what would otherwise be a common coin. Then there are the so-called transitional errors, coins struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. While the official composition of 1973 quarters was copper-nickel clad, rumors and reports of a few being mistakenly struck on leftover silver or foreign metal planchets have made waves in the numismatic world. These rare oddities are the jackpot of coin collecting. Condition plays an enormous role in a coin's value. A heavily circulated 1973 quarter is usually worth just its face value, but one that has never been used, showing sharp detail and no scratches or wear, can fetch a surprising sum. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are exceptionally rare and represent the finest known examples from that year. What keeps the thrill alive for collectors is the uncertainty. Every time someone checks the change in their pocket, opens an old coin roll, or sifts through a dusty collection, there's a tiny chance that a valuable 1973 quarter could be hiding within. It's this sense of discovery that keeps the hunt alive and endlessly exciting. Collectors and dealers alike are constantly on the lookout for the rarest examples. Coin shows, auctions, and online marketplaces are filled with enthusiasts examining 1,973 quarters with loupes, scales, and reference books, hoping to find a mistake that escaped the eyes of the mint over 50 years ago. Adding to the excitement, stories of incredible finds have surfaced over the years. One collector reportedly discovered a double-die 1973 D quarter among coins inherited from a relative. After grading and confirmation, the coin's value soared, forever changing the way they viewed spare change. Each 1973 quarter is a tiny time capsule from a different era, when gasoline was under $1, the Vietnam War was coming to an end, and Americans were adjusting to a new economic landscape. These coins circulated through hands, pockets, cash registers, and parking meters, living quiet lives until rediscovered decades later. The emotional and historical connection makes coin collecting far more than just a numbers game. Holding a 1973 quarter that's been preserved in mint state, or finding a coin with a rare mint error, gives a collector a unique window into the past, a moment frozen in metal, worth far more than its denomination. Beyond monetary value, these coins symbolize the joy of discovery. They remind us that sometimes, the most valuable things in life aren't flashy or obvious. They're quiet, waiting, tucked away in overlooked places, just like a rare quarter hidden in a drawer or change cup. Numismatics is a hobby that connects generations. Many collectors recall learning about coins from a parent or grandparent. The 1973 Washington quarter continues that tradition, sparking curiosity in new collectors every year. It offers not just a glimpse into history but a real chance at finding something truly remarkable. As interest in coin collecting continues to rise, so too does the competition. Rare 1973 quarters that might have gone unnoticed a decade ago are now being snapped up by savvy collectors who understand their growing value. The market is hot, and the stakes are high, and while millions of 1973 quarters were made, it is those few rare examples, minted with errors, preserved perfectly, or struck on the wrong metal, that truly shine. These coins defy the odds and stand out like diamonds in the rough. In a world increasingly digital and disposable, the enduring charm of a simple quarter continues to captivate. Especially when that quarter holds more than face value, it holds the power to change someone's fortune. And believe it or not, one exceptionally rare 1973 Washington quarter dollar, featuring a remarkable minting error and preserved in pristine condition, was sold at a prestigious auction for an astounding amount of $139,000. Top 4. In the world of American coinage, the 1980 Washington quarter dollar stands as a surprisingly captivating piece, often hidden in plain sight. This coin, which many Americans have casually spent or tossed into jars for decades, has a quiet story of mystery, minting magic, and shocking value. Though billions were made, only a few hold the secret that transforms this everyday quarter into a rare and extraordinary collector's item. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, continued to dominate pockets and purses through the decades. By 1980, the design was well established, featuring the resolute profile of the first U.S. president on the obverse, and a proud heraldic eagle perched upon a bundle of arrows on the reverse. But it wasn't just the design that made this coin special, it was what happened during its production. The 1980 quarter came at a time when the United States was experiencing shifts in both economics and technology. The mint was producing coins in huge numbers to keep up with demand. However, even in a highly industrialized setting, human error and mechanical slip-ups created the kinds of minting mistakes that collectors dream about. And it's within this backdrop that a small number of 1980 Washington quarters turned into incredibly valuable rarities. The quarters of that year were struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia bore no mint mark, while Denver quarters carried a D, and San Francisco's bore an S. Most San Francisco quarters were proofs meant for collectors, struck with higher detail and polished dies, never intended for circulation. Yet some of these proof coins ended up in the wild, and that's where the magic begins. What turns a regular 1980 quarter into a hidden gem is the presence of rare minting errors and flawless conditions. Some quarters show double die errors, where the date or lettering appears doubled under magnification, a sign that the die moved slightly during the strike. Others show off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual planchet materials. Any of these abnormalities can launch the coin into a much higher value bracket, and it's not just errors that bring value, condition plays a massive role too. Coins that have survived over 4 decades without a scratch, dent, or discoloration are extremely rare. These are the coins that grading services like PCGS or NGC place into the highest grades: MS67, MS68, and occasionally even MS69. These top-grade quarters are prized for their beauty, sharp detail, and flawless preservation. Collectors today know that even the most unassuming 1980 quarter could hold secrets. That's why so many have taken to searching old change drawers, coin rolls, and inherited collections in hopes of finding that perfect piece. The thrill lies in not knowing where the next discovery may come from. After all, it could be hidden in a common coin jar or buried in an old cash register. The market for high-grade or error 1980 quarters has exploded in recent years. As more collectors join the hunt and fewer perfect specimens remain, prices have climbed dramatically. Online auctions, coin expos, and private sales have all seen a sharp rise in demand for this seemingly humble quarter from the dawn of the 1980s. One area of particular interest is the Denver minted quarters. Some rare varieties from Denver include visible doubling in the date or mint mark. These double-die Denver quarters are extremely elusive and have become the focus of advanced collectors, who are willing to pay substantial amounts for verified specimens. Equally exciting are the San Francisco proof errors that slipped into circulation. While proof coins are meant to be pristine and protected, mistakes during packaging or intentional releases led to a few finding their way into everyday hands. A circulated proof quarter with a deep cameo appearance and frosted details is a numismatic oddity, and a highly valuable one at that. For those new to the hobby, knowing what to look for can make all the difference. A slightly thicker rim, an unusual shine, or irregular lettering could signal a valuable error. Magnification, weighing scales, and even metal composition tests can reveal what the naked eye might miss. And with each test, the possibility of discovering a fortune grows. Collectors also value the 1980 quarter for its place in American history. This was a year marked by rising inflation, energy concerns, and political transitions. Coins minted in such a time reflect the changing face of the nation, tiny metal witnesses to the world around them. That historical connection adds another layer of depth to their significance. There are even quarters from 1980 that were mistakenly struck on the wrong planchets, foreign metal discs left over in the machinery. These planchet errors are extremely rare and incredibly valuable, especially when the coin still shows a clear strike and readable date. Such coins are like lightning in a bottle, unexpected and thrilling. The mystery and potential surrounding the 1980 Washington quarter continue to attract collectors of all levels. From casual hobbyists to seasoned investors, everyone sees the magic of finding one of these rare coins. With so many coins in circulation, the odds may be long, but the reward is undeniably sweet. Coin hunting isn't just about the money. It's about the adventure, the history, and the satisfaction of unearthing something special from the everyday. The 1980 quarter reminds us that the world is full of hidden treasures, waiting to be noticed by someone who pays just a little more attention, and in a world where digital currency grows each day, these physical coins gain even more nostalgic and collectible appeal. The idea that something minted over 40 years ago could still hold secrets, stories, and staggering value is what keeps the passion alive. So, if you come across a 1980 quarter in your daily change, don't ignore it. Hold it. Study it. You may be holding a coin that defied the odds and escaped perfection to become priceless in its imperfection, because one such 1980 Washington quarter dollar, struck with a rare mint error and preserved in exceptional condition, was recently sold for an astonishing amount of $120,000. Top 5. In the vast and glittering world of American coinage, there are years that pass quietly and others that leave behind a legacy. The year 1982 was one of those rare years that changed how collectors look at coins, especially the unassuming Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, the 1982 quarter seems like just another common coin, light, metallic, and passed around 1,000 times without a second thought. But buried within this year's production run are varieties and quirks that have sparked a frenzy among collectors and ignited a nationwide hunt. The Washington quarter had already become a staple in American pockets by 1982. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the coin's design remained largely unchanged for decades. It featured the classic profile of Washington on the obverse and a fierce, spread-winged eagle clutching arrows on the reverse, a symbol of both strength and vigilance. However, in 1982, the U.S. Mint was undergoing a significant shift. Faced with growing production costs, the Mint made a surprising decision that would unknowingly transform the 1982 quarter into a numismatic legend. That year, they chose not to produce any uncirculated mint sets for the public. This meant that the only 1,982 quarters available came from circulation coins, those that were distributed for everyday use. No special collector quality strikes were made, and that made high-quality examples from this year exceptionally hard to find. Without those special uncirculated sets, most 1982 quarters experienced immediate wear from general use. Coins began to accumulate scratches, nicks, and dull surfaces within days of release. As a result, finding a 1982 quarter in pristine, mint-state condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. The scarcity of such pieces has pushed their value into surprising territory. The 1982 Washington quarter was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Philadelphia version carried no mint mark, while the Denver coin was identified by a small D near Washington's ponytail. While both versions were heavily circulated, collectors soon realized that certain examples stood out, not for their appearance alone, but for their mysterious lack of detail. It's when the no mint mark and weak strike phenomenon came into the spotlight. Some 1982 quarters, especially those from Philadelphia, were struck with worn or improperly prepared dies. This resulted in coins that lacked sharp detail, particularly around the date and the lettering. These weak strikes became an area of intense interest for error collectors and sparked numerous debates among numismatic circles. One of the most talked about variations is the 1982 no mint mark quarter with an unusually weak design strike. This coin, when found in high-grade condition, can command impressive prices due to its rarity. Unlike coins from other years, collectors cannot rely on mint sets to find a flawless example. They must search through circulated coins to uncover a gem. Adding to the intrigue are examples of off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. Each of these minting errors transforms a standard 1982 quarter into a piece of collectible art. The most valuable combinations are those that include a rare error paired with a coin in extremely fine or mint state condition, a combination that's becoming increasingly scarce with each passing year. Another element that makes 1982 quarters fascinating is their connection to a broader economic story. In the early 80s, the country was recovering from a deep recession. Inflation was high, interest rates soared, and the U.S. Mint had to make tough decisions about where to cut costs. By eliminating mint sets that year, they inadvertently created one of the most elusive modern quarters on record. Today, the search for high-grade 1982 quarters has grown into a full-blown treasure hunt. Collectors scour coin rolls, yard sales, old cash boxes, and even vending machine change looking for these elusive pieces. Every time someone finds a lightly circulated 1982 quarter, there's a jolt of excitement. Could this be the one that turns spare change into serious cash? Coin grading services have also recognized the 1982 quarter as a standout. Coins that receive grades of MS65 and above are extremely limited in number. Once a high-grade 1982 quarter is certified, it often disappears into private collections, making the pool of available specimens even smaller and more valuable. Many collectors focus on the Denver Mint version, especially examples with strong detail and full luster. These quarters, though more common than their Philadelphia cousins, still hold substantial value when preserved in near-perfect condition. Some have shown exceptional doubling or die variety, further fueling the demand. The combination of historical context, minting scarcity, and collector passion that gives the 1982 quarter its charm. Unlike more modern coins, these quarters were made in a year where shortcuts were taken, and that imperfection became the very trait that would make them desirable decades later. There's a certain joy in discovering value in the ordinary. A 1982 Washington quarter might sit quietly in a jar for 40 years, only to be noticed one day for the way it gleams or the date it bears. And that moment of realization, that a forgotten coin could be a collector's dream, is what keeps this hobby so alive and full of wonder. As more people learn the story of the 1982 quarter, the race to find premium examples becomes even more intense. With fewer untouched pieces remaining in circulation and more disappearing into private collections, every day brings the possibility of a new discovery, or one less chance. The next time you receive a quarter in change, take a moment to look. Check the date. Feel the weight. Examine the edges. That simple act of curiosity could lead to the kind of surprise few expect and even fewer ever experience. And recently, one such rare 1982 Washington quarter dollar, struck with incredible precision and preserved in high mint state, stunned the numismatic world by selling for an eye-popping amount of $14,000. Top 6. The 1988 Washington quarter dollar is one of those coins that often slips through the hands of millions every year without a second glance. It's spent in gas stations, saved in change jars, dropped into vending machines, and used daily across America. But within the countless coins from this year, a select few carry hidden secrets, details so subtle that only the sharpest collectors ever spot them. These secrets have transformed ordinary quarters into extraordinary treasures. The Washington quarter has been part of American coinage since 1932, celebrating the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. By 1988, the design was deeply familiar: Washington's noble profile on the obverse, and a bold eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows, on the reverse. It was a symbol of enduring strength, tradition, and national pride. But sometimes, even in the most routine production years, the U.S. Mint creates surprises that make collectors' hearts race. The 1988 quarter was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Coins from Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver feature a small D beside Washington's ponytail. While billions of these coins were produced, The true magic lies in a handful that contain rare errors or are preserved in such pristine condition that they command astonishing prices. One of the reasons collectors are drawn to the 1988 quarter is the presence of rare minting mistakes. Double die errors, where the date or lettering appears duplicated due to a misaligned die, are among the most prized finds. Some of these quarters also show signs of off-center strikes or planchet errors, each mistake adding layers of uniqueness and value. Beyond errors, condition plays a critical role. Most 1988 quarters were released into circulation immediately, where they were quickly worn down. A coin that remains untouched by time and use, retaining its full mint luster and crisp details, is a rare survivor. Quarters graded at MS67 or higher are especially scarce and are the shining stars in the world of modern numismatics. Another phenomenon that excites collectors is the full strike detail, particularly when Washington's hairlines and the eagle's feathers are struck with sharp, clean edges. Such features indicate that the coin was struck with new or well-maintained dies, a rarity in mass production years like 1988. These full detail quarters are hunted by serious enthusiasts who know their true worth. Is also the appeal of transitional errors, coins struck on the wrong planchet. While rare, a few 1988 quarters have reportedly been struck on planchets intended for other coins, including foreign denominations or outdated metal compositions. These rare errors, when authenticated, can explode in value due to their uniqueness and historical significance. Collectors often seek out specific varieties from the Denver Mint. The 1988 D quarters have revealed some intriguing variations over the years, including die breaks, over-polished dies, and other anomalies that set them apart. In a sea of ordinary coins, these subtle quirks become golden opportunities for anyone with a keen eye. Many coin hunters today are fueled by the dream of finding that one exceptional 1988 quarter hidden in plain sight. Whether buried in a coin jar, tucked away in an old cash register, or sitting quietly in a family collection, the possibility of discovering a treasure is part of what makes the search so addictive even among seasoned collectors. The 1988 quarter holds a unique charm. It's not often that a coin from the late 20th century can carry such potential for value. But when one considers the error possibilities, low survival rates of high-grade coins, and the sheer excitement of the hunt, it's easy to see why this coin commands attention. Coin shows, online auctions, and numismatic forums are filled with stories of 1988 quarters that defy expectations. A seemingly ordinary coin, once examined closely and authenticated, can rise in value exponentially. These moments of discovery are what every collector lives for. The grading process plays a huge role in establishing value. A coin that's submitted to PCGS or NGC and receives a high mint state grade becomes a certified gem. Its value skyrockets not only because of its grade but because of how few other examples may exist at that level. And while many collectors focus on the visual appeal of coins, it's the backstory that often captures imaginations. The idea that a single error or perfectly preserved quarter made it through the chaos of minting, circulation, and decades of use is a reminder that incredible things can survive unnoticed. This coin story is not just about metal, it's about time, chance, and discovery. The 1988 quarter might have passed through hundreds of hands, lived in wallets, and paid for coffee before being noticed. Its value lies in what it managed to avoid: damage, wear, and fading. It survived, against all odds. For those just entering the world of coin collecting, the 1988 quarter offers a compelling opportunity. It represents the possibility of turning a casual hobby into something far more rewarding. All it takes is attention to detail, patience, and the belief that treasures still exist. Even seasoned collectors still feel the thrill when they come across a well-preserved 1988 quarter. They know how rare it is. They know how exciting it is to submit it for grading, hoping it receives a score that sets it apart from the rest. Every quarter carries potential, but only the best shine bright enough to be remembered. As digital transactions continue to replace physical money, coins like the 1988 Washington quarter become even more nostalgic and more collectible. They're not just currency, they're relics of a different era, frozen in metal and waiting to be discovered by those who know where to look. So the next time you get a handful of quarters, pause for a moment. Look at the dates. Pay attention to the details. What seems like pocket change could, in reality, be a rare piece of American history hiding in plain sight, because one extraordinary 1988 Washington quarter dollar, discovered in near-perfect mint state and bearing a rare mint error, was recently sold for a jaw-dropping total of $98,000. Top 7. In the sprawling world of coin collecting, there are years that quietly slip under the radar, until someone discovers that one special coin that changes everything. The United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1997 is one of those surprises. It's a coin many people would never think twice about, casually handed over in a coffee shop or resting unnoticed in a change jar. But within the ordinary lies the extraordinary, and a rare few of these coins have stunned collectors with their value, their rarity, and their unexpected stories. The Washington quarter had long been a staple of American pockets by 1997. Introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, its design remained consistent for decades. The obverse featured the iconic left-facing portrait of the first president, a symbol of leadership, resilience, and American identity. The reverse, from 1932 through 1998, displayed a powerful bald eagle clutching arrows, ready to defend but also a symbol of peace. It's a design every American has seen, yet few ever stop to truly examine. By the late 1990s, the U.S. Mint was preparing for major changes. The 50-state quarters program was on the horizon, and 1997 was one of the final years before the coin's reverse design would forever shift. That made this particular issue, in a way, part of the last chapter of a historic era. But what makes the 1997 quarter truly special isn't just its place in the timeline, it's what happened during the minting process and the few rare survivors that emerged. The 1997 quarter was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, while those from Denver are identified by a small d. Most were made for circulation, billions of them, in fact. Yet out of all those coins, a select few were struck with unusual precision, hidden errors, or preserved in such exceptional condition that they have become prized trophies in the collecting world. Among the most desirable traits found in 1997 quarters are die errors. Double die obverse and reverse coins, though rare, do exist from this year. These coins show doubled lettering or numbers, often visible on the date, the word liberty, or the national motto, "In God We Trust." Even a slight doubling can elevate a quarter from pocket change to auction-level treasure. Another type of error that has surfaced in the 1997 quarter is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned during the striking process, leading to an uneven image. Depending on how far off the strike is, this error can make a coin dramatically more valuable, especially when the date remains visible. Equally exciting are planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a blank intended for another denomination, or one that was clipped or improperly formed. Such minting mistakes are exceedingly rare but instantly recognizable to trained eyes. They are especially valuable when paired with a coin in uncirculated or mint state condition. Condition is everything in the world of coins. Most 1997 quarters entered circulation immediately and were exposed to scratches, dings, and wear within days. That's why finding a 1997 quarter in pristine, untouched mint condition, especially one graded MS67 or higher, is an event worth celebrating. These top-grade coins represent the very finest examples of modern American coinage. Some collectors also seek out proof versions of the 1997 quarter, struck at the San Francisco Mint. These coins, often bearing an S mint mark, were made with a special process that gives them a mirror-like finish. While common in low grades, a proof 1997 quarter with deep cameo contrast and no imperfections can be a standout piece in any collection. Collectors today are more informed and more driven than ever before. With the rise of online marketplaces, coin grading services, and social media groups dedicated to numismatics, the hunt for the rarest modern quarters, including the 1997 issue, has reached new levels of intensity. People are now combing through old jars, inherited collections, and even bankrolls hoping to strike gold with one exceptional find. What makes the 1997 quarter so intriguing is the possibility that such value can be found in something so familiar. It's not a coin from centuries past or one made of gold or silver, it's a simple copper-nickel-clad quarter, still circulating today, that might carry an incredible story and value. Each of these rare coins carries with it not just monetary worth, but a sense of history. It's a reminder that mistakes, timing, and preservation all play a role in turning an everyday item into something extraordinary. That's what makes numismatics such an addictive and fulfilling hobby. Every coin is a potential mystery waiting to be solved. Even coin dealers with decades of experience are keeping a close watch on 1997 quarters, knowing that certain varieties have fetched remarkable prices when the right combination of rarity and condition comes together. Stories of unexpected finds continue to fuel the imagination of collectors everywhere. It's no longer a surprise to see modern coins, even those from the 1990s, commanding premium prices at auctions and shows. What was once dismissed as too recent or too common is now being re-evaluated with fresh eyes and a deeper appreciation for what survives and what doesn't. The beauty of the 1997 Washington quarter lies in this contrast. It's modern, yet rare. It's common, yet potentially priceless. And above all, it's still out there, possibly in someone's pocket right now, waiting to be discovered. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, keep an eye on your change. Look closer at the details. Study the surfaces. What might seem like an ordinary coin could, in fact, be a key to a hidden chapter of American minting history, and one of these hidden gems, a flawless 1997 Washington quarter dollar bearing a rare mint error and preserved in spectacular mint condition, was recently sold at auction for a jaw-dropping amount of $68,000.